Good evening, everybody, and welcome to JACKOCAR live from Italy and Monza. Now, before we talk about the important things tonight about stages and jokers, because nobody really cares, I've had some solid poos in my time, and that one was in the top 8% of poos I've had in what is now nearly 28 years of life. So, thank you for joining us, everybody. And yeah. Monza, one joker, Jake O'Sullivan, stage points on lap 7 and lap 13. Elimination race, Kyle Smith and Jordan Lane are virtually already out. The only way that Kyle Smith advances is if Pete Norton gets a penalty for leaving the chat later on in Rage, so very likely. And of course, we are joined by Kyle Smith tonight, but I'm not sure he's got his mic settings correct. I'm also joined by Barry Baldwin, because Danny Quinn is having a little nappy wappy. Barry, good evening. How are you?
Hello, good evening. Good evening all. I'm very well, thank you. Have you been eating some dodgy Italian food again?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know what that was, but it was 4 wipes, so I still don't think it's clean.
But yeah, we're here, Monza, Temple of Speed. Always provides great racing, carnage down to turn 1. Is always imminent, so yeah, good to get ready to get going.
Good stuff. And Kyle, do you have your voice on share to begin with? That's my first question. I'm sure if we keep saying that you're talking and then nothing happens, somebody in the stream will let us know. I'm almost sure of it. Hold on.
It's Kaya not in the chat yet.
No, Kyle, your mic is not being shared. So never mind. Everything you've just said, totally useless. So me and Barry will run the show for the meantime, although we do actually have a little bit of a gap here. There is a driver out at 17 minutes under the name of TBC, new guy, followed by Jamie Wright, who is an old guy, and neither of those are actually here. Yeah,
so our first guy on track will be fellow Welshman, Jamie Griffiths, as he is just about to exit the pits now.
Yeah, and Jamie Griffiths, previous race winner around here in Monza, scene of the closest finished in JACKOCAR history, 0.033 of a gap. And of course, Barry, I think it was you that brought up, not last week before, maybe last week, I can't remember. Maybe it was Owen, don't know. But that record, that 0.033 gap, was matched only last season in Canada, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That might
you don't
be
know, do you?
No, it might be in a statement that Owen brought up, but no, doesn't ring a bell to me, unfortunately.
Hold on, I'll soon tell you, because I do actually have the information available, and it was indeed Mr. Owen White that brought it up. It was when Mike Kelterborn won, of course, in Canada last season. Second on that day, Kyle Smith. Is your mic working? Hold on. Still no. So whilst Kyle fiddles with that, we will go on board a lap of the Monza Autodromo Internazionale Circuito di Milano. That's probably wrong, but here goes Jamie Griffiths, exits the Parabolica. It has a new name, but I don't know what it is, and I prefer Parabolica, but this is one of the highest speeds you will reach on the calendar here in JACKOCAR. Heavy brake into turn 1 and 2, and I'm sure there's a name for this as well. Careful on the traction on the exit, and this will launch you into what I believe they call Curva Grande, and I'm sure, again, somebody will correct me later on if I'm wrong. This is where Vettel and Alonso and Hamilton have all had battles over the years, and then another left-right chicane. A lot of time can be lost, a lot of time can be gained. If you get it right, it's a very rewarding corner. Lesmo 1 will be followed by Lesmo 2. Jamie Griffiths not very smooth on the entry of that one. but gets the second one slightly better. So 6 turns in and he invalidates, but we'll stay with him. DRS zone then. This will take him down under the old banking of the old Monza circuit, and it will shoot him into the Ascari chicane, which will be turns 7, 8 and 9. He actually gets the lines quite right, and well, apart from that one, that's not the right line, and Jamie Griffiths has ruined it. Well, Mr. Baldwin will move on to Sullivan Lewis, because that was quite embarrassing, I think, all the way down here in P11. And he is in the Lesmos. I'll let you take us for the rest of the lap.
Yes, getting good traction, keeps that one valid, so he gets the DRS open now, and he'll be trundling down towards the Ascari chicane. Get my words out. Easily, you can do what Jamie done, get too much curve, too much speed, and you can lose it. It does not do that, so it's going to be the first representative time if he doesn't take it too wide through Parabolica, which will be the penultimate corner now. He gets it nicely done, doesn't go too wide, towards the line, take the shortest route, which he does not slightly, and that is the time for everyone to beat so far, is a 1:20.3.
Okay.
On the bright side, I believe I have my mic working.
Hold on, before we go to Kieran, because he's irrelevant.
His mum's
Yes,
not.
you do, Kyle Smith. I can hear you on stream. So,
There we go.
do you, Kyle Smith, want to talk about Kieran Spears? You don't have to.
No, I'd rather talk about his mum, but I don't think that's appropriate.
Hey.
So, whereabouts are we, Kieran? Okay, so yeah, he's coming up to turn 8, is he? Yeah. What sort of lap are we saying from Kieran? I haven't really. He's irrelevant, so I haven't really noticed him this season so far.
Like all of us, in fact, Kieran also on a foreign wheel this evening. Not one he got from a different country, but one he doesn't normally use. He actually lied to me and said he'd be on pad this evening, but his girlfriend's sister has a will. Up to the line comes Kieran. It's a 1:21.1. It's good enough at P2 for now, and we'll move swiftly on to Leroy Hasellager, who has done nothing but complain. I'm sure he gets that from his brother all season. But it wouldn't be JACKOCAR without the complaining Hasellagers. Down into the Ascari chicane comes Leroy Hasellager. Through he goes here. Does he take the Jamie Griffiths line? No, he doesn't, but he will get a semi-decent toe off the back of this car, whomever that may be, Risky Racer. And this will launch him down into Parabolica, where it is the final corner. Barry Baldwin told you this was the penultimate one, so perhaps there's a new chicane that we haven't seen here, but it spits him out and fires him up to the line. Then Leroy Hasellager, he goes P1. It's a 19.5, and finally a semi-decent lap. So that leaves us, Mr. Baldwin, with Mr. Mike Kelterborn.
Yes, it is. Where is he? There he is. Coming down to the Ascari chicane, and the purple got into the game. Ooh, that was very deep. He's kept it facing in the right direction, but that's going to cost him a heap of time. And he's coming to the final corner. And he keeps it nice and tidy, but again, it's not going to be too competitive. And he comes to the line. It's a 1:20.9, currently P3.
Nearly invalidating at the end. You've got to keep those white lines, those tyres just inside the white lines at least. Ben Shaw is next then, Kyle, if you want to talk us through that one. He is in Ascari.
Well, yeah, I was on board with Ben for the entirety of his lap. He did have a little bit of a hop in the second chicane. Doesn't look like he's lost too much time from it. Been quite a tidy lap so far. But yeah, he's coming up to the final corner now. I think Ben surely should do quite well here. Keeps it on the track, nice and clean. Up to the line. P2, not too far off though, only a 10th in it.
So, of course, Ben Shaw sits one behind Khalifa in terms of pole positions all time. 20 for Khalifa, 19 for Ben Shaw, a record he lost control of earlier this season. And P2 means it opens the door for Khalifa to extend this evening. But we are now on board with Connor Byers, who took a miracle career day performance last week in Canada. A track that he could have won at last season if it wasn't for that pesky German Mike Kelterborn But Connor, the redhead from the Isle of Wight, can
Damn it, I was going to say it.
Oh, it'll come out again. But can Connor get anywhere near pole position and keep his good form up? It's P4 for the moment as we now look to the second of two Haselager brothers. Yuri Haselager this one. And Barry, what's it like? Because no one cares about Yuri. What's it like racing Yuri's cousin, Huri Haselager?
Very similar. The driving styles are very similar. So, I've raced Yuri for many seasons. Always produces good fights with him. So yeah, we'll wait and see to see if we see his cousin on track again. But yeah, he's running the team speed colours tonight by the looks of it. As he comes into the final corner now, still got the Max Verstappen helmet running. Takes a nice wide line, and towards the final line, and it's P3, not a bad lap from Yuri.
P3, that leaves us... Oh, we just catch Waze at the end of the first Lesmo there. Car sideways, a bit more stable for the second Lesmo. And going back
not the
to
best run.
a point that Barry made just there, Yuri running the speed colours as opposed to the ART or ERT colours. Not that you'd ever see him in any of them. Another moment for Waze here. Kyle's eager to talk, but I'll carry on with the Welshman whilst we're here. It was said on Tuesday that you, Mr. Baldwin, was the most successful Welsh driver in the league. Jamie Griffiths the second most successful, and Waze the third. But he is starting to make gains with all those wins in Kia Series. He won again on Tuesday night as he goes P5 here in Monza. Good effort as he starts the postseason in the Kia Series.
Waze is showing some really good form this season, like you said. And his car looked a bit twitchy. He must be running my setup because he is running in my car this evening.
Absolutely. Inspired colours. Kyle Smith, here's a man that you'll want to see leave the chat at some point, I'm sure.
I'm sure I can get him to do it.
Get inside the head of Pete Knight, and I will leave you with old pal Corey Dalton then, Mr. Smith.
My best mate Corey, best mate of ART as well, of course, because he's using the purple, so I'm sure he wants to join. But yeah, he's coming through Lesmo 1 now. Not too bad through there, better than what Waze was when we went on board with him. Same again through Lesmo 2, nice exit, going to get the DRS open. Interesting to see actually at the end of this straight, the top speed of all the cars. It gives you quite a good indication of the wings people are using. But Corey getting up to 218 just about, so that's a bit higher than what I've seen some people, so possibly down the straights keep an eye on Corey, because I think he will be going for some overtakes, especially down the start finish straight. Getting a little slipstream off that car ahead as well, not too sure who that was. But yeah, through the final corner, well within the lines, and up to the line he goes. Pretty tidy lap, should be up towards the top. P3.
There it is. We move on then to Nick Egan, who I will publicly apologise because I called him the ERT owner last week in Canada, and of course Dexter as well. I'll apologise to him, who is the actual ERT owner. I was getting my wires crossed and I can't say that, and my One Hub owners mixed up as well. Of course it is Nick who owns the awful league that runs on a Sunday, the purple one.
I'm more confused what ERT is. Does anyone know?
It's the blue team. That's the best I can do for you. Well, don't say too much because Baz is with us.
It's the dark blue team. We're not the light blue like Speed. We're the dark side.
Is that the faster blue or the slower blue?
They're both shit, Kyle. Anyway, it's Nick Egan to the line, and he goes P5. His best ever qualifying in Cup Series is P2, and he had a P3 last week. So room to improve.
Members, that's all I'm saying.
Egan. Quality over quantity. As we'll move on to a very high quality driver in the form of Gareth Hall, who is now on course for his best qualifying of the season. That's P4 for him there, the man who's averaged P12.5 all season long. Barry, take us for a lap on board the midfield man, Mr. Ben Harrott. Half a lap.
Very, very nice through the second chicane there and through the Lesmos. I'm liking this livery he's got as well. Yeah, on Ben Harrier, last time we were in Italy, in Imola, he got his win on the Joker. Didn't win the actual Joker, but we almost missed it. But nevertheless, he got an amazing win around there. So can he get back-to-back wins in Italy this season? We shall see, as he's coming up to the final corner now. Purple in both sectors, according to the graphic. And up to the line, and it's going to be 119.9. Not bad at all.
I don't think he'll be happy with that. After his form recently, I think he'll be quite frustrated with that.
I said last week that Ben Harrett is now no longer a midfield runner. He's actually knocking on the door of the front runners. And speaking of front runners, here is the first of those. It's Arnaud de Grief, a man yet to win a race this season, but I am sure it is coming. There's, of course, 6 races left in the Cup Series, and this being one of them. Is that right? That is right, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, 6 to go, so there is a 2-week break after this, but Arnaud de Grief to the line, and that's P1, a new benchmark then. Over to you, Mr. Casper Klein. What can you do? Here's Kyle Smith.
Yeah, Casper, formerly of the purple team, but we won't talk about that. But through Lesmo 1, nice run into Lesbian 2, Lesmo 2. Yeah, didn't get the DRS of that car. That car staying well out of the way. He did not want any of that. Up the back straight, same again. Top speed, just 1 mile an hour slower than Corey, so it's relatively all the same, but it could be the little bit that makes the difference there. But yeah, Casper normally quite good in qualifying. So let's see what he can do up to the line, into the final corner. Again, staying well within the lines. And then up to the line. Should be up towards the top again. P2. Very close, very close.
Yep, and of course it should be said that Casper has only had 3 poles in his Cup Series career. Only 3, would you believe? Despite the fact he has 7 wins, it says. Perhaps qualifying not his strong point, but he knows how to get it done on track. Someone else who knows how to get it done on track and in qualifying is the pole position record holder, Khalifa El Khalifa of Bahrain, 20 and counting. Will he get it done here today in Monza? We'll find out in just a few seconds' time, but through Parabolica he comes then. Khalifa up to the line. Where will he put himself for the race? It's going to be P1. Knocks Arnaud off top, but it's impressive that Arnaud even got a lap on the board. Finally, we'll move to Jake O'Sullivan then. He has 11 career pole positions to go alongside his 10 wins in his 2 championships. The flagship driver for ART, if you don't mind me saying, Kyle. But through Ascari he goes, and out the other side he comes. I didn't see the speed because I'm not Kyle Smith, I'm not counting, but it's just 1 corner to go. Can Jake O'Sullivan put it on pole? He just needs about 2 or 3 points to qualify into the round of 8 tonight, but where can he put it? Can he give himself a head start on his Joker? P4, once again, Khalifa steals the show.
Yep, that'll be Khalifa's 6th pole of the season, and racking him up in the stats as well. I think Jake might be slightly disappointed with P4, regular season champion and, like you said, double champion as well. So, but we'll all see how it pans out on the race start. I do believe it's a dry race. I don't know if anyone's been told differently.
Normally by now somebody said something in chat and I've not seen a single comment. It's almost like the bottom 1 hub tier. No one's interested, which is weird. And thank God we had a flurry of new pole laps at the end there, because could you imagine if Leroy had got it on pole? Oh, I don't think we'd hear the end of that, would we? He wouldn't have an excuse or wouldn't be able to moan about being too slow for Cup. He'd have to go all the way back into Kia. That's what he's trying to do anyway. Carl Smith, are you sad that you're no longer in competition? Or the fact you've got a broken wrist anyway, you couldn't really fraud your way much further than this race anyway, competitively.
Oh, it was going to be a fraud either way. So yeah,
That's fair.
I'm not too fussed, to be honest. I don't really think I had the pace to get that far this season anyway. It's a bit annoying that I'm not racing. I'd much rather be on the grid, but it's one of them, I suppose. And we'll just see how long it takes for that to heal and come back stronger.
And apparently you injured it through falling off a horse. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Connor to put in the comments about being whipped or something like that. But yes, that is correct. But the less said about that, the better.
Okay, now I've met you in real life, Kyle. You're not a cowboy, okay? You're not a cowboy. So that's the only excuse for a man, if you don't mind me identifying you as a man.
Yeah, that's correct.
There's no other excuse for a man to be riding a horse. So what are you doing riding a horse in England? That's what I want to know.
I'm not a closet American like you, so I'm not a cowboy, like you said.
I have ridden a horse, but it was without a hat.
It had to be said. How can I say this in a stream-friendly way?
I'll say what you like, honestly.
It's for the shag, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, you found yourself a nice horsey girl, then?
Yeah. But
Okay.
Still, the less said about that, the better, because Connor's going to be putting in the comments whipped all the time, and we don't need that.
That's all well and good going for a horsey girl, providing, one, you don't mind being second to a horse, and two, you don't mind the smell of shit.
Well, they're good at riding.
There is that. But speaking of smelling of shit, Barry lives in Wales.
Yes.
Any aspirations for you to return to Cup Series, or do you look at this lineup and think, fucking hell, they're bloody fast?
Yeah, probably 3/4 of the grid's too fast for my liking, but I'm always up for a challenge. I like to see how I fare. If I'm towards the back, so be it. I'm just happy racing, getting my stats up. We shall see.
It's all about stats. Barry, the last time you raced in Cup Series was last season. Is that correct?
Yeah,
or have you done one?
Yeah,
that is correct.
No, I think I did one last season. Yeah. Yeah, it was either comms or race tonight. I had my Brawn livery ready, but we'll bring that out another time.
And of course, you were full time in the Cup Series for seasons 1 through 4. 32
Yes.
starts, 147 points, 5 laps led, 1 top 5, 9 top 10 finishes, 7 DNFs, and a best finish of P5. Not quite as good as your Kia Series, but as you celebrated earlier in the week, 100 races. Experience is, I wouldn't say unrivaled, but it's very good to have in this league. And speaking of experience, I mean, this should be a straightforward race. What do you think these drivers have got coming up tonight?
Well, I mean, by the looks of it, we're going to get a dry race, so should be, well, safety car pending as well. It will be one of the quicker races of the season. 27 laps. Yeah. Someone's just taking a detour. What was that?
I've put the camera straight onto Gareth, who's already having a little battle with, I assume, Yori. These guys.
Speed boys are having a bit of fun. They don't want to stay behind Khalifa.
This is fine.
Anyway,
we'll let this happen.
Back to the race in hand. It's going to be interesting to see how they take it down to turn 1, because turn 1 around here always provides an accident. So this is JACKOCAR. The likelihood of it being clean on lap 1 is probably 0%, but we'll see. I might be wrong.
That's not Kia Series. It's at least 3%.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Luckily, Kia Series isn't going to Monza this season. We've got a heap of street tracks to come, which is going to be fun.
Oh, can't wait. Kyle Smith, your stats in the league: 79 Cup Series starts, 5 poles, 11 wins, 966 points, puts you third all time, 308 laps led, and no championships. Are you planning a comeback at any point to actually come back and have a proper go and maybe win this title one day?
Oh, I think it's got to be done at some point. It's just, at the minute, these top guys are just way too quick. I don't know whether it's just ever since the 2020 game, I've just never been as confident. But yeah, these guys are too quick. So if we can get them all banned, then I'd appreciate that. And yeah, then it could maybe happen.
Okay, I will put a good word in with the owner for you and see what we can do for season 9. Of course, season 9. Thanks. Season 9 comes to you in, I believe, middle of January, but TBC. The cars are lining up on the grid. Jamie Griffiths, the last of those, of course, because of Gareth's and Sullivan's exploits. We've had to wait a little bit longer for the field to get around, but your stage points tonight come at the end of lap 7 and lap 13. One joker in the form of Jake O'Sullivan, who starts P4, and one car starting on the mediums. It is, of course, Kieran Spears. We are going to get 5 lights very soon, and we're going to be underway here in Monza, hopefully, for another classic. Khalifa gets away well, but let's see what happens on the run down in towards turn 1, because Arnaud and Casper are already looking very lively, and Jake will look to get in there as well and see what he can do. But it appears to be Khalifa that has held the line, and Arnaud has retained P2, so the top 4 were as you were, and everybody else has appeared to have got away very cleanly. So Barry Baldwin, you were wrong, and we're now looking at Gareth on the inside of Ben Harrett. These two who fought it out for the the shootout, and of course it was Ben Harrett that come out on top. More contact between these two, but they managed to get away with it. Good driving, but Gareth's going to be on the inside for Lesmo 1. Ben Harrett wants to give it up, or doesn't want to give it up, but has to give it up, and through goes Gareth. So a brilliant move for him. And further down we see Waze, who's dropped away from Risky, and Kieran has retained P17. So a very uneventful lap 1 so far. Khalifa leading the way through Ascari. We see Ben Harrett now getting back through on Gareth. There could be contact here. They all file through just about. Good little fight developing. It is only lap 1, don't forget, and there are yellow flags further back for a spinning. It's Kieran Sullivan Lewis, I believe. Is it Kieran?
Unless my graphics, yeah, it is Kieran. Yeah,
there he is.
The screen froze for a second there.
And Jake is past Casper. Here we go then. And Jake is already looking at the back of Arnaud, so we do have a 4-5-way battle for the lead, which is fantastic to see. Arnaud runs a little bit wide, but we'll be able to get on the power sooner, and that's exactly what happened. So Jake won't benefit from that move up the inside. He did actually manage to force Arnaud offline to begin with, and Corey is coming with these, in fact overtaking Casper. The ERT have 3 cars inside the top 4, sorry, 4 cars inside the top 5. I stand corrected on myself. Jake the ART in an ERT sandwich.
Yeah, so Corey gaining 3 positions already, so he's had a really good start. A bit of a gap forming from P6 downwards now, 1.4 Ben.
And a VSC.
And there we go.
That will be for, I believe, Pete, and also Connor as well. Connor's in the gravel at Lesbian 1. But yeah, I think Pete was sideways when I went on board with him. Not too sure what happened there. It doesn't look like he's got any damage. And then Connor's just being Connor, I suppose. Again, not really too sure what's happened there.
Yeah, this is coming off the back of a P3 finish, don't forget, last week in Canada. He remains 13 points behind the chase leader, which is Ben Shaw. Ben Shaw was with Leroy at the start of that VSC. DRS are now enabled. We've gone green. Yeah, green flag racing once again. So you'd like to think Ben Shaw should be able to bridge that gap to P5. But the top 5 are certainly putting on a hell of a show, as you see Corey sideways out of turn 2. That's going to invite Casper back around the outside of Curva Grande. How brave are you, the Finnish man in a Swedish car? Corey blocks him off. Frustration shown from Casper as he shakes the wheel. Perhaps, we do know actually that Corey does not join the ELT party, so there'll be no communication there. But just keep in mind they are teammates. The front 3 have semi-broken away, but not out of sight, it has to be said. And Ben Shaw on his way and bringing Leroy with him.
Yeah, just looking back at turn 1, Arnaud locked the rear wheels and Jake did go into the back of him. I don't think there was any damage, it was just a little love tap, but one to look out for. Arnaud locking his rears into turn 1.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Here's Casper once again eyeing up the back of Corey, but of course mandatory pit stops can begin from this lap onwards. And we have a spinning Jamie Griffiths all the way down. Water is wet. Here goes Casper. He has the run on Corey. Khalifa sets the fastest lap. Corey's going to fight it.
Taken by Jake.
Contact.
Jake's going.
And look at that. The two ERT boys fighting away, and Pete Knight is out of this race.
More contact. Whoa. Jake locking up the rears going into turn 1. There was contact with Arnaud, and we have our first full safety car.
So you are going to see Jamie Griffiths pit under safety car. Kieran as well on those mediums. These boys here, Leroy, who is it? Leroy and... No, Leroy's stop, by the way, is mandatory. But it was mandatory under green before the safety car come out. Keep that in mind.
Right, let's get that one down. Leroy.
Connor has actually looked out a bit here. He went round another lap without any front wing. Not entirely sure why. But obviously with the safety car now, he's managed to pit, get a new front wing on medium tyres, see if he can work his way back up the grid.
Yep, absolutely. We know Connor has the pace, he just doesn't like to show it. But I have to say, Leroy has lucked in there. We will do our first VAR check of the night to make sure what I'm saying is correct. I'll leave you two to talk about it whilst we review this.
Yes, just join these. So Jamie, Kieran and Connor may not.
Just looking if any of these front runners are going to bail into the pits. Khalifa's in. Jake's gone round. Arnold in. So a bit of a split really between the top guys. Corey also in the pits. So Jake and Casper have carried on. They're trying to wait for their safety car stop a bit later on in the race. I'd imagine we're going to get another one, let's be real.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the field in now.
Don't forget that Jake is on a joker, so he can pit whenever he likes. And I have confirmed VAR check complete. Leroy's pit stop was mandatory under green, so he still has the safety car stop in hand. No free drivers behind him. Jamie Griffiths, Kieran Spears and Connor Byers all made their safety car pit stop. So mandatory, but under safety car means they have to make a green flag stop from lap 14 or beyond.
Yeah, in terms of on-track position, Leroy hasn't really gained or lost anything. Obviously, he's still got that safety car stop in hand. But yeah, he's pretty much came out where he was before the safety car anyway.
Absolutely. I'm just checking as well. It was Jake that led lap 4. Don't mind me doing everything.
I think it might have been Khalifa, because Khalifa came in at the end of lap 4.
Would you like me to go to another VAR check?
No, I can confirm it was Khalifa leading at end of...
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah, Khalifa and Arnaud, Corey, Ben all came in at the end of lap 4.
I think on this safety car restart, Jake's going to be quite vulnerable here. If you look at the ERT guys behind him, he's got no backup really until 8th with Ben Spurs. No one really there to help him out, so he could be quite vulnerable here.
Agree. He needs to get away from Casper ideally quickly as well, because Casper could play like a rear gunner for Khalifa being in... I know there's no teams in JACKOCAR, but being in ART.
Your friends are where you find them, as I always say. No question on who led lap 5, by the way. It was indeed Jake O'Sullivan, and you imagine he will come round and try and hold on to the stage point. In fact, the stage points are an interesting one, because Jake O'Sullivan is eyeing up the stage record. Oh, that's wind, standard. The record is held by Arnaud. 24 stage wins, and Jake is on 22. One more here puts him within 1. And Arnaud yet to win a stage this season. Let me correct myself.
We've got, yeah.
Not entirely sure what's happened there. I was going to ask you both what you would think in Casper's position right now. Car in front on a Joker, everyone else has pit behind. Would you now be thinking you've done the wrong strategy, or carry on, see if you can, you might be on a different strategy, but it might be the better one?
What's going on at the back? We've got chaos on the back. What's going on here?
Someone's overtook, I think, and it's glitched the game. Usual Codemasters.
We did see it pop up for...
Nick has got the penalty. He's just had a second one as well, so he's got 10 seconds now.
And now we see Mike holding everybody up. It looks like a... Does he have some sort of delta? He's certainly in control of the car.
This is when you get it come up on your screen. Both cars, it says that you've overtaken. And then obviously neither one wants to go past.
Well, Mike
did.
There's
a point where you just ignore it and just take the penalty and take it to the stewards later on if needs be.
And the issue is you'd have to serve it in the pits.
Exactly, so it wouldn't be removed. But yes. Mike, I'm seeing a little bit of lag from Mike's car, and he missed last week's race because of bad internet, and it appears to have returned. So maybe
it seems all right on my end.
Yeah, flicking about, but I'm sure we'll find out what happened later on. As he now overtakes Gareth.
It's going to happen again.
Because now MK Bourne has also got 10 seconds as well.
I believe he's now doing the right thing and letting everybody through.
And I say everybody. He was on the grass again.
What is going on here, boys?
Well, this is not helping their race, because if the safety car comes in this lap, Gareth in P10, well, he's catching up now, but he was over 12 seconds behind the pack.
Yeah, he'll be fine. It appears to be only Nick and Mike with penalties. Nick is the One Hub representative, so it doesn't really matter what happens to him. And Mike, well, fill in the gaps. We'll go back to the front where there are no dramas. Jake O'Sullivan will be guaranteed his 23rd stage win. So he will be one behind Arnaud. And the situation is everybody below Casper has pitted. Jake is on a Joker. So Casper, to answer your question, Kyle, I would say is at a disadvantage, because we've seen races here before where the safety car will come out once and that's it. Or it could go the other way, and we could end up using all 5 slots. But we have had a VSC as well, so there's only 3 safety car slots remaining. So Casper, at the moment, not in a good place. But it is JACKOCAR, and as we know, anything can happen. I'm going to quickly fill in the gap and say Jake led that stage and won that one, and then return to commentating.
I think Jake's going to leave this as late as possible, shorten the straight as much as he can, and try and catch Casper out.
We go on board with Jake to see what he does. He can restart when he wishes, and he chooses to do that now. Casper snakes on the restart, which is going to open the door for Khalifa, who's already contemplating a move early on. We see some moves behind. Ben Shaw, one of them, as we file into turn 1 and on the restart. Look at Corey up the inside.
Oh, wow.
And multiple contacts made. Lots of wing flying everywhere. We saw Corey and Arnaud getting involved there. And here they are recovering. Arnaud, does he have any damage? He has.
He's surely got some side.
We go for the lead.
Must do.
We've got a car off in the wall.
And it is Nick.
MK Bourne's out. Is it Nick?
It's Nick that's gone. And the safety car returns. So this is where
some strong words.
this is where Casper ideally would be pitting now, just in case another safety car doesn't come out. But with driving like that, you never know. And Kyle, you would have seen it in chat earlier. Barry, maybe not. But I said, I'm not in a very good mood tonight. I must admit that mood has slightly changed. But I said, anybody who even thinks of doing something stupid, I will call them a massive C on stream. Once we get verification of who caused turn 1, they will be getting called the big C.
Would you like my take on it?
Please.
What I've seen.
We have 3 laps to talk about, so you carry
Let's
on.
Have yours first.
I believe Corey and Iceman were side by side into turn 1. It looked like they both outbroke themselves, and one of them, I don't know which one, locked up and then basically just
Casper's
become a
gone
bowling
off.
ball straight into straight into everyone else. And then we had also Jake and Casper, I don't know if you caught it on stream, second chicane, pretty much on top of each other. So I'm sure that's going to be some strong words between the two again.
Okay, my take on it is I saw Corey go extreme right, so the inside of turn 1, and late braking. I don't think he out-braked himself, but it was late braking, and then there was another car to his left. And then what happened on after, I do not know. Barry?
Yeah, for me, Ben got a better restart than Corey. Was on the left-hand side of Corey going down to turn 1. Corey, I think, has tried to outbrake him going into turn 1, has veered right, and has not seen Arnold there as well, who's also tried to outbrake him. And I think it was Corey and Arnold that made contact with each other.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But I didn't know which car it was, but obviously it's Corey. He was still full throttle past Arnold, and then he's broke. It was way too late on the brakes, I think.
Okay, very well. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm just quickly going back to do another VAR check because I'm not confident on who led lap 4. I've just received a message from the One Hub owner, and I cannot repeat that on stream. Well, I could, because
you could.
I can say what I want, but I won't for his sake. But yeah, let's just see who led lap 4. I really need to get this one sorted. Khalifa enters the pit lane.
Midfield man Ben as well up to P2 in all of that carnage and a few people pitting. He was P8 on that other safety car restart, so he's really benefited here.
It's worked out really well, hasn't it? And unfortunately, we have lost our 5-car battle for the lead. You know, those 5 cars that were all so close together. And by the way, Barry, I have to say, it is Jake O'Sullivan that led lap 4.
Okay.
It's extremely tight with Khalifa, who was in the pit lane, but Jake was the leader. And for anybody wondering why we're counting the laps, it's because there is a playoff point available for the driver that leads the most. Of course, 27 laps to date, so if you lead 14, it's guaranteed. Jake O'Sullivan currently on 6, and Khalifa had led the first 3. Nick leaves the session. He's joined us for the last 3 races, and that's 2 DNFs, and was it a P4 in Canada last week?
Yeah, just quickly on pit stops as well. Jamie, MK Bourne have made 2 stops now, and Gareth's just made a 3rd. I do believe that all 3 of them drivers still need to make 1 mandatory stop.
Yes, we're still in the first part of the race, so everybody needs to make a mandatory stop.
That is right, yeah. End of lap 14 it will be, won't it?
So Jake's Joker is invalid then? Or am I wrong here?
You're wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Jake.
Okay, so
Joker is any time after lap 3, is it?
Lap 3 onwards.
I have to be told the rules every week anyway. Just
not the only
just
one.
Looking at Jake, obviously he's took his pit stop now. He's got all these cars in front of him, and I don't think they're not going to be pitting anytime soon. So I think he's going to lose quite a bit of time here.
But 17 laps on the mediums. You never know. It should be doable. He just has to avoid the trouble and stay with the peloton, if you will. There's a nice cycling term for you, Michael O'Sullivan. No relation to Jake. We'll go on board with Khalifa Al Khalifa and see if the second restart is any good. That's our 3rd safety car period used up. We have 2 to go, and Khalifa is underway. That's a better restart. Leaves Ben Harrett for dust. What about Leroy, Corey, Arnold, Risky? Khalifa's actually pulled a blinder there. Look at Connor, who's very much back in this race, looking at the outside of Risky Racer, who's going to run deep into turn 1, makes contact with Arnold, and Waze with his broken front wing there as well. Carnage at turn 2, and Connor has massively lost out there. You've got to filth him. Waze's car turning Risky, and then that put him into Connor. Risky and Connor, no fault of their own, and Connor cycles
Jake
all the way to the back of
positions
P16.
as well.
Jake's actually gained 1 position. Oh, there's more carnage here as we see who's that, Jake and Risky and Jamie Griffiths all there. Jake up the inside. Can he hold the move here? Yes, he can. Up into P11, he returns. But very chaotic restart. Thankfully, no safety car this time. Kieran is back up into P10. Looking at the back of Waze. And there's a move further ahead. It's Casper and Iceman.
Casper's had a great restart. He got a great exit out of turn 2.
That's risky in the wall. And another safety car.
That is another safety car. And Jake, since he recovered to P11, has gone back down to P13. So we will get another safety car. Will we get any pitters? I imagine Waze will come in because he has no front wing. And he'll stay out. So I'm wrong. What do I know?
Yeah, Waze got a bit swallowed up on that restart. I think it was Connor flew past him, and then somebody else, I can't remember who it was, and then obviously there was contact into turn 2. Yeah, Casper got an excellent exit out of turn 2 and just bullied his way past Jake through the Curva Grande as well.
Sorry, ignore me. I'm catching up with the laps led. So much happened there. I actually don't know. Talk amongst yourselves.
So that early green stop for Leroy is working out quite well for him now. He's back up into P3 and he still has his safety car pit stop to make. With this safety car out now for another lap or 2, if he boxes, he could be potentially good to the end.
And a little correction from myself. It was Jake has only led 4 laps. Khalifa is on 5, 6, 7. If he leads this one, it will be 8. Gentlemen, it's that time when... Listen to this. Now, guests in the stream, if you can tell me what can I've just opened, I'll give you £27. Actually, no, I'll donate £27 to a charity of your choice. No guesses?
I think it was a monster of some sort.
Yeah, being a Lewis Hamilton fan, it's got to be a... I'm very disappointed if it's a Red Bull, Jacko.
Both of you would be wrong.
Fanta.
Don't be so like that.
Well, you're
who
from
drinks
the south.
Fanta out of a can?
You're from the south. You're all weird.
Harry, I assume that's Harry Collier. He's gone for a Stella. Unfortunately, Harry, I don't have a wife to be up after.
That's my drink.
So, any other guesses? What can have I just opened? You can see we've given up with the race now because, well, let's stay with it.
Just quickly, Jake has given up on his Joker as well.
Has he? Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I think Jake's given up his life in P14.
It's not often Jake has a bad race. I think he had a fairly... Yeah, he had a poor one last week. He had got 9 points, so that means he finished P8 there. But his regular season was incredible. I mean, it started off with a DNF in Singapore. He won Saudi, and then he was on the podium for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 races, 2 P4 finishes, and then he won Austria. But his postseason is not going quite so well, so he'll be ever so grateful that he entered the postseason with 32 playoff points, and with the round of 10 race has been for him so far, at least. He'll be glad that there's a 2-week break coming up. But after our 2-week break, we return for a 5-week shootout. It's Brazil, Mexico, Paul Ricard Superspeedway, and then 2 firsts for JACKOCAR, or in the Cup Series at least. It's Qatar and Las Vegas. And of course, join us for Las Vegas, where we will have our regular build-up as we do. We're hoping to get another 2-hour build-up. That would be fantastic. The Kia Series as well, I would tell you the dates, but I don't have them. I do believe it is 4 street circuits and then Spa as a Championship 5 race. Anyway, back to the front. Khalifa leading the way. After this, we only have 1 safety car period remaining. The safety car for this one is in. And Khalifa, can he get the jump on Ben Harrett once again? We'll go on board with Ben Harrett. And he's been mugged off yet again. But so has Leroy. He struggled to get away. But Corey has had the better start out of the 4. And what can he do? Of course, Corey and Leroy. A little bit of history there. Further back, there are issues. We've missed it all.
Gareth and MK Born are out, and we've got more chaos into turn 1.
That's Casper off.
Jake has got half a front wing.
Yori lets Casper go, and yellow flags and a safety car, everybody.
That is the last one.
That is the last
Sure.
one.
Thank God.
So,
Jamie Numbers, P8 with 0 front wing as well. Just quickly on the chaos at the back, I just caught the back end of it. It was Gareth and MK Born were wheel to wheel, and they both just shot into the wall. Both drivers are out.
thank you very much, because what seems to be a habit since I've been lead commentator is I've missed all the crashes. Something that Owen Wyatt was very good at was finding the drama, but then he would do that, being a Northern Irishman. In the midst of all of that, Khalifa won the second stage. And,
Nice message from Gareth in the chat there.
yeah, I saw that one. Can't read that one out either.
Well, we can, but it's more like the illusion of what could it be.
Yeah, so as it stands, obviously we know Jordan is out of the playoffs. Kyle, you're likely to. Not heard anything from Pete. I don't believe he's left the chat though, so we're going to lose yourself and Jordan from the round of 10. We're seeing Pitters here.
Leroy is good to the end now because he's making his second stop.
Yeah, that's worked beautifully for Leroy, hasn't it? Because we said he made his pit stop under green right before the safety car come out, and that's worked wonders for him. So P9, he should be in the box seat because he's actually ahead of Jake, who's having another stop, another front wing, but also soft tyres. Will they go 12 laps? They should do, but they'll be screaming at the end. So yeah, the round of 10 has pretty much solved itself, but it does open the door in the round of 8, especially with Gareth going out, Pete going out. They were close to that, what will become the new cut line, and it just helps people like Corey and Arnold just edge away from them before the South America swing of Brazil and Mexico. The front 9 are all on mediums, and then the back 4 are on the soft tyres. But of course we have got lots of pit stops to come, and I can assure you, no more safety cars.
So top 4 that all put the softs on all changed their front wings as well. They all had major damage.
What actually happened at the back? I didn't see it either.
I saw Gareth and MK Born going side by side. MK Born was on the inside, and then it just looked like they squeezed each other, ran out of space, and then contact, both spat straight into the wall on the exit of the pit lane.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like JACKOCAR.
Yeah, you could say it was quite similar to the accident with Pete and Gareth back in Imola. They just made contact and both went straight into the wall.
Right, well, I've got a job to do to get Pete out of the chat, so I'm going to figure out something.
I imagine Pete will just go quiet for the rest of the evening. We had no more takers on my what can of drink did I just open, but I see Liam New said a drink can. Unfortunately, that's not specific enough, and I'm bored of waiting for any other responses. I can tell you this is the first time, by the way, I've never had this, but Captain Morgan, spiced gold and cola, the pre-mix stuff. Pretty lovely.
Oh, I like it.
That's good, you know.
Good choice. I do like a rum and coke.
Yeah. I've always been a bit of, I don't want to say it too loud, always been a bit of a Malibu fan. And,
oh dear.
So I'm venturing my, or broadening my rum experience, if you will, with this.
It's not really a drink you can say that loud at the bar, really, is it?
I didn't say it louder. It's the sort of drink you go to the bartender, I'll just have a Malibu and Coke.
Do you write it down on a bit of paper and just hand it over?
I point to it, I sort of use my jacket to hide where I'm pointing, and then go to the bartender. That one in the white bottle, mate.
So that's it for safety cars, I believe. Yes.
Right.
Which is coming in at the end of this lap. Just quickly on pit stops, if my maths is right, I do believe your net race leader in P9 is Leroy. Connor has made 2 pit stops, but I do believe he's not made both mandatories.
I believe the same. Pardon me. Gentlemen, we actually have a race to commentate over for the next, what will be, I guess it'll be 11 laps, wouldn't it? So, Khalifa, for the third and what will be final time this evening, will lead the cars around Parabolica. And can he get a hat-trick of perfect restarts? Of course, if there's any carnage at turn 1 and 2 this time around, that's very much it to the end. Ben Harrett could win this race. You never know. But here we go once again, and Khalifa's done it. But Ben Harrett has had a better restart. It may not be enough. We're going to go further down. Here's Corey and Arnaud looking at P3. Yep. And Arnaud will just sit behind Corey for now. Further down, we're seeing Connor up the inside. And there he goes on Casper. Will he leave the room? Yes, they do. Good racing between those two. Gets the traction down as well, does Connor. And he's going to be on the inside for Curva Grande. But Casper's going to stick it around the outside. And Connor is just edging closer. And more level with the front of Casper's car. Casper gives him the room and Connor goes straight on. He's done a Lewis Hamilton at Baku. What a shame for him. But he takes the escape road, rejoins in P10 and almost causes carnage with Kieran, who has to find his way to the back of the field. And that was a great shame for Connor as we see Casper and Waze fighting. Casper's actually pulled away and Speed Iceman returns to the top 5 but is now heavily defending from Casper. No, he's not. I'm looking at the wrong car. He's actually racing by himself.
I think Waze must have some sort of... he's got more wing damage.
Yep.
Here goes Corey, by the way, for P2. And Arnaud's looking at this as well. When will he brake? He taps the back of Ben Harrett, but he's going to get away with it. And will we see some pitters on this lap? We have to, surely. Corey's the first. Ben, Corey and Khalifa stay out. Sorry, Ben Arnaud and Khalifa stay out. But here comes Arnaud on Ben Harrett to the inside, using that ERS up. And through he goes into turn 1, but you know Ben Harrett will fight back. That's something he's shown a lot this season. And there it is. Further back, Corey, P12, Waze in the pit lane. And away they go.
I don't think we're going to see that many pitters. I don't think we're going to see that many because there's going to be no more safety cars. We've done most of the laps on these tyres behind the safety car, stretch them out, got onto a set of softs to the end.
There you go. That's what Kyle thinks. We see Connor
off the track.
Okay.
Something we've seen a lot this evening. Kieran off the track. Well, last time, through no fault of his own, note, the season 5 champion. People forget that.
Restart. It does have that 3-second time penalty.